Hi, I'm Bianca Tarrant, co-founder of Our Cow, and welcome back to Paddock Talk. Today, we're tackling something that's on every packet of meat you see: labels. Words like grass-fed, organic, carbon neutral, regenerative, they all sound great, but what do they really mean? Who decides what counts, and where are the loopholes? Dave and I will break down the jargon, share our take and our opinion on the buzzwords, and talk about why farmers shouldn't be boxed in by labels. If you've ever felt confused standing in front of the meat section, this episode is for you. Welcome back, David, to another episode of Paddock Talk. Thanks for joining me again.
No worries, mate. Hey, you feeling okay? You sound a bit crooked today.
I'm a bit nasally, but I'm here and I'm very excited to be doing another episode. The first couple of episodes have been so good. They've been released. If you're listening to this one, we've just released the episode with Steve and Michelle from Ewingella Shorthorns. That was really good. The first 3 episodes about the Our Cow story had lots of really good feedback.
So if you're listening to this one, you've made it this far with us.
You've made it this far, so congratulations. We've got the podcast on Apple, Spotify. It's also, you can see the full video on YouTube. Yeah, having a lot of fun. Just getting to chat with our farmers and hearing everybody's different feedback about the podcast. It's been really cool. And we're learning along the way, learning how to interview, which is challenge in itself. Okay, today we're going to be breaking down labels. Like every single packet of meat has got a label on it, and like by legislation you have to have a label on your meat products, apart from when you're buying fresh out of the window from a butcher shop. But if you're buying retail pre-packaged meat, it has to have a label on it. So we're going to start with the biggest component: grass-fed versus grain-fed. So if you know Our Cow, well, actually, I wanted to go a step back. When we very first started Our Cow, like our first ever body that we processed, he was grain-fed.
Yep.
Wasn't he?
Grain finished.
Finished. So he was on grass most of his life.
Yep.
And then we finished him off with a bit of grain. And we only did that once on the first round of deliveries.
Do you want to talk about why that was the case and why some farmers do that? Like they finish their animals on grain?
For sure. That we were in a drought.
Yep.
When we started Our Cow, we were in the brink of one of Australia's worst droughts.
We had no fucking grass.
There's no grass. So trying to feed an animal suitable for a finished, like a meat job, is you can't just kill like a skinny old cow. Like you have to have the nice level of fat cover. It's got to be finished. And what does finished mean? Like we say that a lot.
Well, it means that they've got enough cover over their ribs, over their rump. Like they're not just like a skinny old boner cow.
Yeah.
That's like, because that doesn't taste very good.
Think about your T-bone. Like your T-bone's got that nice layer of fat on it, or your rump steak, it's got that nice fat cap on top. Like that is what we're talking about when we say finished.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, like the cattle that are like super skinny. So animals usually the most like the best way that their eating quality is described is by like their rising plane of nutrition. So an animal like lamb, cow, whatever, when they're young, when they're born, you want them to be on a rising plane of nutrition their entire life. So they start off and they're eating grass and they're like they're going upwards. They're putting on weight. Their nutrition is adequate. It's like a person, right, or a child. Like they've got to be growing and they've got to be like ingesting food that is nutritious for them. It's also helping them grow. So if they have like backwards days or like they go, they go into pasture where they're losing weight or they're like starting to go backwards because the pasture is not adequate for them, the meat eating quality of that animal is compromised. So what you are trying to do for those animals is always keep them on a rising plane of nutrition. And as a grass farmer, like it is difficult to do. Like it's a lot of intensive work. So, our first ever body was finished on grain because we didn't have the grass and we didn't have the systems in place to be able to finish animals on grass.
And we didn't really know, like, because we were just starting off. Like we were sheltered. Like we just thought that people and all farmers finish their cattle on grain. That's what you did. That's how you laid the fat down. And we were none the wiser. And we had no idea what our customers wanted because we didn't know who our customers were. But we quickly found out that people would ask us, is it grass-fed? Is it grass-fed? And then it became apparent to us that like we need to be 100% grass fed
and grass finish.
and grass finished. So here's the thing, right? The term grass fed isn't very tightly regulated in Australia. So you can technically finish an animal on grain for less than 89 days and still call it grass fed.
Or if it's not coming from a certified feedlot.
Yeah. So basically, this is how it can work. You can buy a steak and it can say grass fed on the label. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's grass finished. So that's a bit of a loophole in itself. And like Dave said, sometimes you can be buying meat that says grass fed, that it isn't grass fed, it just hasn't been fed in an accredited feedlot.
Yep.
So a feedlot is like an intensive farming operation where cattle are fed grain intensively for a stipulated amount of days.
Usually 100 days. Most commodity beef in this country is like 100-day grain-fed animals. They're.
And why? So I've never been about bashing feedlots because I've always felt,
and we've got friends that work in feedlots, like
absolutely. And the more that our cow grows and the more that we get bigger, I really feel like we've become like this voice of agriculture. And I feel like a lot of responsibility of that, like that we're the face of agriculture, like we're showing people about agriculture. So anyway, what is the necessity of a feedlot?
Consistency.
Consistent
product that people need to eat in this world.
And need to eat affordably.
And they definitely need to eat affordably. So like when you have an animal that's, basically most of the feedlots are buying an animal at a certain weight. They're trying to target, sort of 380 kilos and above live weight animals, sort of even up to 450, 480 kilos to go into their feedlot. And then they want to spend as little time and money as possible to finish those animals on grain. So majority of the commodity beef that's in the supermarkets is 100 days. And that is just for consistency, to get that consistent finish on those animals, to turn those animals over as quickly as possible, so that the people that are going to the supermarkets every day to buy their steak, that's feeding their families for dinner, that they're like, it's consistent and it's cheap for them to pick up some meat because everyone needs to eat, right? So
it's a necessary part of our food and agriculture system.
And it's easier to mix up a ration, to buy products in, to mix up a ration and go around with a feed tractor or a feed truck and put it into a bunk. And those animals are like, they've had nutritionalists work on their ration. They're feeding, they're getting like
adequate
nutrients all the whole time that they're in there, because they're in the business of like putting on as much weight gain as they can on those animals, and they're trying to get them as finished as fast as possible.
So I always think of it like it's a can of Coke. When you've got beef that's coming out of a feedlot, you are producing cans of Coke.
Tastes the same, looks the same,
weight's the same, everything is exactly the same.
But compare that to grass. Fucking, there's a lot of variables, man. It is difficult to do. Like, you've got different seasons, you've got different pastures, you've got different climatic conditions, or where soils, like all these things. And it's like, so like, it takes a lot of work to be able to grow pasture. And especially with this climate, like, I'm not like talking about the climate that's changing as well. It is getting more and more difficult to grow pasture, to finish an animal off, because at the end of the day, like, I'm a grass farmer and all of our farmers are grass farmers, so it's
next level of farming. And I think we spoke about that with Steve and Michelle a fair bit in one of the earlier pods. So basically, when you're looking at a meat label, you want to be looking for something that is 100% grass fed and grass finished, if that is what you're looking for. If you're looking for a grass fed item, that's what you're looking for. There are some other certifications though that will allow you to have fully grass-fed. So one of the certifications is PCAS, which is Pasture-Fed Cattle Assurance System. So that is like a governing body, and that is what our cow goes by. Like, all of our livestock are PCAS certified. So that means that they're 100% pasture-fed, never fed grain, ever. There are some other programs that other meat companies have, things like Cape Grim and a few other companies. They've got like the Never Ever program. There's the Grassland program. So a lot of these big meat companies now are developing their own grass-fed and finished guidelines
Yep.
so that their producers have got guidelines to go by. And especially if these bigger companies like Our Cow included, the supermarkets included, if you're going to make a grass-fed and grass-finished claim, you need to be able to back that up.
100%.
And that's what we've had to do over the years. Like when we first started out, it was just our word. We were saying, you know, like we're 100% grass-fed, but now it's like
we have a program.
We have a program. It's rigid. It's like it's law. It's legal. It's legally binding. So all of our producers have to sign a legally binding stat deck when they supply Our Cow to us, or when they supply cattle to Our Cow, to say, my cattle are 100% grass-fed, grass-finished, never fed grain ever. So that is what you're getting when you buy beef from Our Cow, 100% grass-fed, grass-finished. So on to the next labeling thing that we see a lot in the supermarket is HGPs. Now, for someone that doesn't know what a HGP is, David, tell me what a HGP is.
Well,
again, a necessary part. Well, necessary or not, it's a common practice in agriculture. And it's because a lot of that, like you said before, these people are in the business of kilos. Like we're in the grass farming business, they're in the kilo farming business. They want to pack as many kilos on those animals as quickly as possible to reduce their costs and have a lower input
and
cost.
obviously we do as well. Like we're in the business, so you know, trying to make a profit, and our farmers are as well. But like we do it with grass, not HGPs or grain fed. So HGP is a hormone growth promoter. So it usually is a little pill that goes in an animal's ear
or under their skin
and like helps them put on weight quicker. So it's a hormone.
Steroids.
It's steroids. That's basically what
Think about it from like a human perspective. Like if you got a big guy at the gym that's trying to bulk himself up, he's on the proteins, he's on the fucking juice, like he's
pumping it.
He's pumping.
Yeah.
And that's what I think of when I think of HGPs. It's just cows that are just pumping.
That just pumping the roids. Might have a set of Bose earphones on as well or something as well, just punching it. But no, so that's what a HGP is. And I suppose, like Bianca said, it is a big part of the industry. And, you know, those animals are trying to put on weight as fast as they can. So maybe you can just touch on like when you see HGP cattle on a meat, like on shelf.
Okay, so there's no meat companies and producers don't have to declare when they use HGPs. So often when you look at meat on a supermarket,
you have to declare it on your NVD.
On your NVD, I'm talking about the label.
No, that's right.
So if an NVD is
so it's basically a form that you fill out as a livestock producer that when you transfer your cattle or you buy and sell cattle, you have to fill that out if it's had a HGP.
It's like a bit of paperwork that goes with the cattle the whole lifetime. So you can track and trace. It's lifetime traceability. So you have to declare it if you've used HGPs on your NVD. But when you're labeling your meat products, you don't have to label when you use HGPs. However, you can label when you don't use them. So often when you see meat on a supermarket shelf, it'll say no added hormones or HGP free. So that's probably the most common one, is HGP free or no added hormones that you'll see on your supermarket meat labeling. If it doesn't say HGP free or no added hormones, you can guarantee that it's had HGP.
More than, I wouldn't say you guarantee, it's more than
likely. Okay, more than likely it's had HGPs in it. So that's something that like an uneducated consumer, like you just think that why would my beef have hormones in it? Like you would just automatically assume that it doesn't, but
because they want to pump them.
Yeah, you want to put kilos on beef as fast as you can, as cost effectively as you can, and HGPs allow producers to do that. So like the average producer that's like just growing beef in their paddocks, not necessarily like they're not
mainly the finishers.
Yeah.
Mainly the people that are the last stage of the animal's life where they're trying to get those animals to finish. HGPs are pretty common practice. And some producers do HGP on grass as well. But you know, more often than not, it's usually for the finishers.
Yeah. Okay. So that's HGPs covered.
Yeah.
Now we're going to dive into organic.
Ooh,
so organic is a big one. And I feel like organic was a big thing like 5-6 years ago. Like
maybe like mid 2000s.
Everyone was like
late 90s.
Organic everything.
Yeah.
Like it really took off, this whole organic thing. So Organic is actually certified. Like there are certifying bodies. If you want to call your beef or your chicken or your vegetables organic, you have to meet organic certifications and organic standards.
Yeah.
So there are strict rules when it comes to organic. So no synthetics, no chemicals, no antibiotics, no like animal welfare standards are high, like things like that. So I thought it would be interesting to get like your opinion on organic and maybe.
So as an organic animal, you can still feed grain
Correct.
to an organic animal, but you just have to have a certified organic grain feeding those animals.
That's correct. So
I know some producers that they are organic certified and they feed grain, but it's organic certified
and
grain.
can come from feedlots as well. Like you can have a feed, like you can be feedlotting beef on an organic grain ration.
Yeah.
So just because it's organic doesn't necessarily mean that it's grass fed, grass finished.
Yeah. So definitely a different one there. I suppose like from my take on organics and the certification around that is a lot of our suppliers are they go over and beyond the organic guidelines, but they aren't certified organic because in our location where we're on the northern rivers of New South Wales, very high rainfall area. We use practices for animal welfare on our cattle because we have buffalo fly or we have ticks and things like that. So, or liver fluke is another one as well. We treat those animals for like buffalo fly is basically like 1,000 mosquitoes are chewing the cow's eyelids out around the soft part of their skin in the summertime when there's like a lot of parasites and a lot, like it's a tropical area. So we use things to treat that so that the animal is not suffering, and we can't be certified organic because we use that, or we have. So a liver fluke parasite, right, is something that is common in our area as well. It's basically a parasite that's caused from snails, the bacteria from snails. And when the snail crawls over the grass, the cow eats the grass where the snail bacteria has been. There's a parasite that goes onto the cow's, like it ingests it, goes onto the cow's liver, and it actually sucks the nutrients out of this cow, right? So it's like this parasite that is just sucking every bit of nutrients that the cow consumes. It's sucking it out. And we've had cattle die because they look super healthy, and they'll just fall over and die in the paddock because they have like their body they're starving to death, even though they've been consuming grass and because of these parasites. So we treat those animals for that. We have a drench that goes down their throat to treat this parasite. We cannot be certified organic because of that reason. But
it's like it's an animal welfare issue.
That's
though.
right.
Like you always say this. Like, could you imagine going down to the beach, and watching the sunset down there and just getting the absolute fuck bit out of you by mosquitoes?
Yep. Sitting on a river in North Queensland.
You're going to spray yourself with a bit of Mozzie spray or a bit of Aerogard or light a citronella candle.
Yeah.
Like because
you're going to try and treat yourself.
And a cow, like old buddy Bessie in the paddock, she can't go and grab a can of Aerogard and fucking spray it on herself.
No.
But like she's there, you can see she's flapping her ears, she's swishing her head, her tail's going crazy. You can see that she's in discomfort because she's getting
attacked by midges or mozzies or flies.
So like your responsibility as a farmer is to make sure that your animals, your like animal welfare is number one. And I guess a lot of the organic cattle in Australia comes from areas where these things don't happen.
Exactly right.
So where do organic cattle, like you do get some coastal organic cattle, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But majority of the organic, like the large scale organic cattle in Australia come from
Central Australia.
Correct.
Mainly the desert. Like places where they don't have parasites, where it's not
very
tropical,
arid.
It's arid. It's a lot of dry heat. These parasites and these things that cause discomfort for these cattle don't live in those areas. So that's basically where majority of these cattle come from.
Correct.
Of the organic cattle.
So a lot of our producers will go over and above organic certifications and organic standards, but it's the animal welfare that plays a big part in it. But like organic is a bit of a pay to play game.
Definitely.
And you'll find that with a lot of these certifications
I think it's up to $10,000 a year to be certified organic now. So it costs a lot of money for a producer to go and get their farms audited, to go and like do all these things, and then to just pay a governing body to give them a label on their
And
product.
to be honest, to not get that much more at the farm gate.
No.
Like like back when the mid 2000s when the organic boom was going on,
Yep.
like you could have got a much higher price at the farm gate, but now it's sort of like you have to kind of weigh up, like, is it actually worth it?
Yep.
And with the like economic climate at the moment of consumers, like, are consumers still paying a really high price for organic produce?
Yep.
I don't really see it, but it is like a lot of these labels and a lot of these governing bodies, it is a pay to play with these guys.
So I think like the moral of the story with organic for our cow is we use our own program to certify our farmers, and we 100% trust that what they're doing is the right thing for their farm, their animal, and the environment.
100%. Yeah. So that is organic. We don't stipulate to our producers that they have to be organic.
We do have some organic suppliers.
We do. Yep.
We don't pay them any extra, do we?
No, because we don't sell, like, we don't charge our customers. We have some organic chicken, and when we first started,
we have some organic beef sometimes as well. But we don't stipulate that because our farmers meet our program guidelines. They're not certified by an organic body, which is pay to play.
Yeah, correct. However, like, we do, and that's why you'll see in a lot of our marketing that it's free range, grass fed, organic, because we do have some organic produce. Like, we work with chicken suppliers that are certified organic, and we sell those products. But when we first started selling chicken at our cow, we were all organic. All of our chicken was 100% organic. But what we found was it was just not attainable for everyday people to buy organic. Like, people just couldn't afford to pay organic. So that's when we still had some organic products, and then we brought in the free range products because they met our guidelines, and it was a more affordable product for people. So next, labeling, which is kind of a new label that's come about in the last couple of years, carbon neutral. So
interesting. Talk about this one, Bianca.
Okay. I don't know where to start. So it's a bit of a buzzword, I think. Like, there was this big thing recently about, like, we need to be offsetting our carbon, and we need to be,
It's a big thing in agriculture at the moment. There's like a lot of talk because, we have a lot of trees and grass and carbon sequestering things on farmers' land across the world, right? So it's a big thing in agriculture at the moment. And like, I think, you can do a lot of things as a farmer to, like, probably not change your practices, or like, as businesses, we've seen a lot of like businesses nowadays that don't change anything that they're doing, but they go and buy wind farm credits from some place in like overseas or something like that to offset their carbon, which is fucking bullshit in my mind. Honestly, like, if you're going to be carbon neutral, work towards changing what you're doing in your business or your farm that's going to reduce your carbon emissions. Not actually just keep on rolling with what you're doing and just pay someone else, or like offset what you're doing, because what you're doing is probably not right if you're having to do that. If you're working on everything that you need to on your farm or in your business to reduce your carbon emissions, you should feel good in that. Like, you should be proactively trying to reduce that, not fucking offset it. Like, that's my opinion of it. I get pretty passionate about this one. And, we've spoken to some of our suppliers about that. Do you remember the conversation that you've had with one of our pork suppliers around this?
Yeah, so that it was 100% pay to play. Like, one of our suppliers was like, wanted to go down the carbon neutral path and like get their farm carbon neutral certified. And they had the governing bodies come in, and basically, they wanted to tell them all about their farm and what they were doing and the practices that they were doing on farm to reduce their carbon footprint. And all the governing body wanted to know was, how much money are you making?
What revenue the farm was turning over?
Is your farm turning over? And the producer was like, what are you talking about? Like, what does that have to do with my carbon? I'm doing all of these things and I'm reducing my carbon footprint significantly on my farm. What does my revenue have to do with it? And it was basically, the revenue was tied to how much it was going to cost you
to offset.
So if you were making a lot of money on your farm, it was going to cost you a lot more to offset your carbon. So basically, it was just crooks. So carbon neutral, I think it's borderline greenwashing, but there are, like, I think about some of our other producers that are doing unbelievable things on their farm to offset their carbon without even thinking about it. We have one
We're
producer.
not chasing certifications.
They're just doing it
for
because they think it's the right thing.
It is the right thing to do.
But they're not doing it to try and get a certification. Like, we have got one producer, he's planted over 100,000 trees on his farm.
Yep.
I'm like, what are you doing that for? And he said, I want to try and stop the erosion on the creeks, and I want to, have some more tree coverage for my livestock and
windbreaks for his cattle,
so that it doesn't have the topsoil thing, just all those sort of things that they're doing. But I really think and now we're seeing in the media, some places are feeding seaweed to their cattle to try and offset their carbon and reduce their emissions.
Their methane emissions. Yeah.
But most of that is happening within feedlots.
Yep.
That seaweed stuff is being fed in feedlots to reduce their emissions.
Because another reason why that seafood is the seaweed is not that palatable. So if we were to try and feed that on a grass farming operation, the cows they don't ingest it. They basically eat the grass.
Turn their nose up at it.
So in a feedlot environment, they're being force fed that to basically reduce their methane emissions, which it is what it is. That's what we're moving towards.
I really think
the customer dictates what we do on our farm.
Agriculture is very progressive though. We're looking at these alternative methods on
100%.
how we can reduce our carbon. The agriculture industry, I reckon, is at the forefront of every other industry. Definitely. On how to reduce carbon.
We
look at the mining industry, transport industry, they're what are they doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I see it's very conversational in ag on how we can reduce our carbon
and it's so good.
I feel about this is the cow is the easy scapegoat. We just blame the cow for farting too much. She can't talk back.
No, she
can't talk back. But the minute you go and say, well, it's actually mining and it's actually transport, people need to get around. People still need to fly. People still need to have somewhere to live.
Yeah.
But the poor old cow,
she's the scapegoat.
She's the scapegoat for all this. Anyway, I feel like we're getting a bit ranty here. So that's carbon neutral. You do see a bit of carbon neutral beef getting about. And are people prepared to pay extra for it? I would say no, not at the moment. I don't think there's a demand there for it.
It is starting to get a little bit more and more. We are seeing a bit more involved in it, but there's definitely different levels of certifications there as well. I know some carbon neutral beef suppliers that they've got their feedlot and that's where it comes out of. So
100%. Okay, so next, let's talk about this kind of ties into carbon, but these buzzwords. So regenerative, biodynamic, sustainable, all of these words, these marketing terms that people put on farmers to get a higher price for their produce. There is no governing body for any of those terms. And people, consumers get caught up in is it regenerative or is it biodynamic or is it blah, blah, blah? Is it sustainable? Most of our producers, if you went if you went and said to Rick McDowell, Rick, are you a biodynamic farmer? What do you think he would say?
He wouldn't know what that is.
He would have no idea. But for someone of his age, he's very progressive.
Yeah.
He is doing a lot of things on his farm because he knows that he wants his farm to be in the best condition for the next generation to take it over.
And ultimately, the way that you do that is becoming the more sustainable you are in the practices on your farm, 90% of the time it's more productive and it's more profitable for a farmer.
Yep.
So that's what ultimately we're running businesses, and we want to be sustainable on our farm to keep it profitable, to keep progressing, to look at the next thing that's coming up, to look at how our soils are treated and how we can improve our soil, on our farm. So that is why we go down these roads. It's not because we're chasing a label as a farmer.
Yep.
And ultimately we want to provide a product to our customers that they want to eat and they feel confident in eating. But we are trying to do that as farmers to survive in our business as well. So
someone said to us, I think we were talking about, what sort of farmer are you? He said, I'm a sustainable farmer. I need to make money.
Yeah.
I need to provide for my family.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that my land is being looked after.
Yeah.
But he's not looking for any extra money for being sustainable. Or you can't certify being sustainable. He's just trying to do that for the best use of his land.
But we have a list of guidelines
100%.
that that all revolve around sustainability on farm. So once again, like, you know, we're not talking about putting farmers into boxes, because every farm is different, and every farming operation, whether it's coastal, you know, New England, like different location, desert, you know, they all have their own aspects of what sustainability is on their farm. I don't think that you can put a box around a farming operation and they're going to be the same as another farm. It just does not happen in the farming industry, because everybody's farm is different, everybody's soil is different, you know, the climates are different, like there's different things that are going on with weather. So we put like some guidelines around that for our own framework and our own like program that we have for our suppliers, but we don't tie everyone up to have, you know, you must pay to get this certification, which is, I don't think is the right thing to do. That's but in my opinion, right? Like everyone's got their own opinion.
And it depends what you're after as a consumer too. Like if you
want to know the story and like have trust in those producers, well, that's what you do. You have a brand that you buy for that you trust, or if you're looking for a label to, you know, around this whole pay to play space, well, that's what you get.
So what can you do as a consumer when you're looking for meat or looking for produce? Like what advice would you give to somebody?
Do some research. Ask the people where you're buying your meat from. Like, you know, and once again, I don't want to go down the path of like ragging butchers out and things like that, or supermarkets either as well. But, you know, sometimes the butchers that are buying meat in, that's particularly in cartons nowadays, they're just coming with a label on a brand, on a carton of rumps, whole rumps or whole cube rolls or whatever. You know, they're not necessarily knowing where that meat comes from. So ask the questions, like ask where it comes from, ask like, do they know about the practices behind it, you know, things like that as well. And if you can, buy from your farmer, buy from your local farmer, because they're going to be the closest source to the truth that you can get, really.
Yeah, they're the ones that have raised it. They know what's happened on their farm. So buy direct where you can, usually save a little bit of money as well. And you know where your money's going. So it's totally up to you where you buy your produce from. Like we said from the start, there is always going to be a need for supermarkets and affordable meat
and feedlots
and all that sort of stuff. And it's purely about giving you as the consumer the knowledge to choose where you want your food to come from.
I think so too. Just choice is what customers are looking for, really.
100%. Anything else you'd like to add on meat labeling?
Oh no, that's a pretty controversial topic, I think. It's always a challenge trying to work through that and explain that, but hopefully we did an okay job and we don't get bashed too much.
I think it's fine.
Because we love ag, and we're definitely not out here to bash agriculture. We've got mates in so many different aspects of ag, so
it all makes the world go round.
100%. We've got to keep people fed. We've got to keep people in the cities bloody with a bit of full belly.
That's right.
So talking about full bellies, have you got a recipe?
Oh, I forgot.
You better get one on this episode, mate.
Actually, why don't you have one?
I've been on the old carnivore bandwagon for a little while now. Lost 20 kilos, both Bianca and I, on the carnivore. Feel great, super clear.
It's probably an episode. We should talk about that.
We should talk about that. Yeah. But anyway, so the other day I'm batching it. Bianca stayed at her niece's place to hang out with
my sister. My niece doesn't own the house. She's only 2.
Well, but stayed with your sister to hang out with your niece. And I was batching on it. So I was like looking through the cupboard about what I had. I had some chicken thighs in the fridge. And then, so there's some pork crackle. So like as a snack for a carnivore, you like, you know, jerky, pork crackle, things like that from the servo. So I had some pork crackle in the fridge. Anyway, crushed all the pork crackle up and then got a bit of egg and then dipped the chicken thighs in the egg and then dipped them in the pork crackle to make crumb chicken. But like it was like
pork crackle.
Carnivore.
How'd you cook it?
I just put it in the air fryer.
Oh, really? Did you just spray it with a bit of oil?
Yep, sprayed it with a little bit of oil and then put it in the air fryer. I think it was like 165 degrees for about 15 minutes, 16 minutes or something like that. Perfect.
Nice.
And I sat down for lunch with Luke, our farm manager, that day and had me carnivore chicken thighs. So
Very nice. And he probably had something like muffins and Kit Kats.
He actually had.
His wife's a great cook.
His wife is a really good cook, and she made these like those Cocoa Pop Cocoa Pop slice.
Yeah,
she had them, and I didn't have one, so
you had the chicken.
Had my chicken.
Well done. Okay.
Feel great about myself.
Good for you, David. So wrapping up, at the end of the day, labels can help, but they don't always tell the whole story. And that's why we started Our Cow. So you know exactly what you're buying, where it's from, and the story behind it. Thank you for tuning in to next episode of Paddock Talk. If you've enjoyed the episode, share it with someone, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you next time on Paddock Talk.
See you guys.